Hmm.
Go.
I'm deep in my rap list tonight. I had my son was fucking jamming out to Fat Joe a little bit ago. It was one of those parenting moments where it was just amazing. He's like sitting there while Fat Joe's going on. I'm I'm sorry, not Fat Joe. What the fuck am I talking about? Not Fat Joe. Um,
Big pun.
no, not Fat Joe or Big Pen. What the hell am I talking about? God, my mind is so fucking gone these days. Old school, little motherfucker. Uh, oh my God, I can actually hear the fucking song and I can't even remember the name. I've been drinking way too much shit out of cans. Aluminum fucks up your memory. And recently I've been getting into all these sugar-free shit out of cans, and I can just I can just feel myself getting dumber, like by the absolute second. Too short. I was like,
Oh, I love Too Short.
I'm like, you have to shoot through a lot of littles and a lot of minis in order to get. I was like, he's known for being small, but in the rap community, everybody's known for being
My
small.
favorite song by Too Short is "Getting It," "Getting Money."
Get my oh yeah yeah.
Getting it, getting money. Don't laugh, it ain't funny.
Hold on a
You
second.
need to get an education.
Let me make
Get
sure
you a job.
Let me make sure that this is in right. Usually,
Thank
it's on.
See, you got all my game from the streets of California.
I got you now. Before you were coming through my computer, it was in right. It just wasn't in right. I had to re-put it in. I guess the plug's wrong. Yeah, Too Short. That's some old school gangster shit, and I love that old stuff. You know, when I listen to the new stuff, sometimes I just shudder. I'm like, this doesn't do it for me. There was actually a point in hip hop where not every song was violent, and then all of a sudden, there was a period of time where every song got real violent, and it became about pure gangster rap. And there's a really
Jimmy's calling me. What the hell is going on here? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's he calling you for?
I don't know.
Let's see.
But I don't know how to switch over.
Oh,
I mean, I don't want to switch over.
yeah, that's
You know why? Because I think he didn't see the Zoom thing in the other thread.
of course he didn't. Let me resend it to him. I love it when he goes,
He's
how do I log in?
confused
And I go, look to up. And he's like, oh,
Did they fuck that embroidery up or they got it right?
dude, it's perfect. Hey,
Oh,
it's
good.
perfect. So
I
my
think it was made in China.
so I just literally just got the hat,
Yeah.
came back and opened the mail, put the hat, put the fucking Scully on. I'm wearing it's I don't know if you can see it, but it's from Elf. It says
He's angry.
He's an angry elf. Yeah, he's an angry elf. And my shorts are the following. Let's see if you can see it.
I don't know. What is it?
They're satin shorts, pajamas, and I'm wearing fucking moccasins.
You're going crazy.
I look like a person who's mentally ill. And so my neighbors just moved in 2 days ago. I haven't met them yet. Have not met them. I walk in, bringing the mail. They weren't there. I walk back out with a bag of trash.
Yeah.
And brand new neighbors that literally just fucking moved in are sitting out there, and this is what they see when they walk out. And in the meantime, I've got, who knows? I've probably got a bulge from a firearm because I always put it on when I take out my trash. I'm fucking.
He's an angry elf.
Is
that what an angry elf looks like?
Yeah, he's an angry elf, and I'm like, hey, and friendly as can be. Hey, everybody, you're waving, trying not to look like a fucking asshole. Actually, it's probably better I had the hat on because with a shaved head, it's even more disturbing. I live in a mostly black community. I actually prefer to live in a mostly black community. It's too many white people around makes me real nervous for some reason. I don't know. I'm just not comfortable around that. but I go, hey, nice to meet you. And
How you doing?
I
Everything's
see,
normal.
I see this, yeah, I see this sort of like, oh shit. In the meantime, they moved into the house where my old I mean friendly person. I'll call him a friendly person. We were very friendly. He committed suicide right after last Christmas. So every Christmas I sort of say a prayer for him and his family. But he lost his mind. And I think a lot of people are doing that. You want to text Jimmy and tell him to look on the thread?
All right, let me see.
It's above Bill. Oh, I see. I see why he missed it, because he was interacting with other people. Let me
Yeah,
I got it, Patrick. I'm gonna send it to him.
you got it.
Yeah, I got it. So the other thing that was funny. So I put this hat on. My wife and I weren't fighting at all. We just talked shit to each other. So my wife goes, look at you. You look stupid. Look at how stupid you look with your stupid face and your stupid hat. And I said, you want to know who's stupid? Let me tell you who's stupid. I married you, and I get to look at you every day. You married me, and you have to look at me every day. Which one of us is stupid?
You're insulting yourself when you
Correct.
say that.
Correct. But then she had to actually admit that she was the stupid one after that.
Were you this stupid when we got married?
So I used my own looks to insult her. Now that's not something you see. That's some high level shit right there. That's how you argue. You want to insult my looks? There you go. Now who's fucking stupid? You tell me which one of us loses. Now she loved it. She goes, yeah, I'm stupid. That was good.
So let me just say before I forget, we got a couple big fights coming up. I mean, not in the next week, but down the line.
They're starting to get inked. They're
getting inked. Because you know why? Because everybody wants to get that money, and the money's there. The money's there. And I saw that Canelo is now about to sign with DAZN again for one fight against what's the guy's name? Me and Jimmy went to one of his fights. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a world champion. And then if he wins that, he's going to fight Golovkin for the third time.
Wait, who's Canelo fighting?
He's fighting. Hold on, I'll tell you.
I remember hearing a bunch of rumors, but is that inked?
This is about to be inked.
Alvarez?
Yep. Sources: Canelo Alvarez close to 2-fight deal with Matchroom Boxing to face Dmitry Bivol, and then if he wins, the third fight trilogy with Golovkin on DAZN.
Another Triple G. I mean, I got to tell you, Triple G's the hardest matchup for him. You could argue that Triple G won. You could argue.
You could definitely make a case for one of those fights for sure. The other fight was fucking close too.
I mean, both of them were razor thin. One of them I truly give to Triple G, but he's clearly a matchup issue for Canelo.
I don't know about that now. I mean, I think that his strategy is going to have. He's not going to outbox Canelo right now. He's got to go in there and he's got to get on him, go after him.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Nobody tries that because they get fucking beaten. But he has some serious power. Golovkin can crack. If he can get inside, hurt him to the body early, buzz him somehow.
I think he's towards the end of it, man.
He is towards the end of it. He's got no chance if he doesn't try to fucking roughhouse this guy right off the bat. He's not going to win a boxing match against him.
He's got to catch him. He's
got to hurt him. He's got to try to hurt him.
Yeah.
Buzz him, early.
Have you ever seen Canelo hurt?
I mean, against Floyd a little bit.
Not really.
Not really. No. I mean,
was he hurt against Floyd or
not really? It looked like his pride was hurt more than.
Yeah.
More, yeah. I've never.
The only guy who
hurt
him.
I've seen
Cotto's brother.
Big fucking shots from big punchers.
Who's the guy who hurt the shit out of him? Oh my God, he almost knocked him out.
You just said he never been hurt. Who?
I just remembered it. I have to look it up. But it was early in his career. It's like midway through. He gets fucking blasted. And he's all over the place, but he comes back.
Huh. I saw him. He got hit by Kirkland. He got hit by Triple G. I've seen him
destroyed
take
Kirkland.
I was gonna say
Right.
Triple G is probably the biggest shots I've seen him take in his career, and that might be wrong. I might have missed a punch here and there, but Triple G was the one that beat him. You know,
I just don't remember him really as hard as he
Look
punches.
look this up.
What?
Look this up. Cotto's brother. Cotto's brother fought Canelo like 25 fights in. And he buzzes he hurts him like Chop Chop hurt Cotto. He fucking rocks the shit out of him. But he comes back and he knocks him out.
I said, Chop Chop, what the fuck happened? He goes, well, we had a game plan and we were just sticking to the game plan. Game plan? He was fucking dead.
He was gone.
Out.
He was gone.
Completely gone, and you didn't throw another fucking punch.
And that just goes to show, seriously though, how good Cotto was too, because he recovered and somehow fucking made it out.
It was so bad, it almost looked like the fix was in.
It could almost justified. His legs were so gone, if I remember correctly, and he was like totally out on his feet.
It was like Zab Judah. Like it was like the Zab Judah fight.
Yeah. And then Cotto comes back and beats the shit out of him.
Yeah. God damn, he had his ass out.
I rewatched that Zab Judah fight pretty recently. That was a fucking fun fight to watch.
Wait,
Which one?
Didn't Chop Chop buzz Floyd a little bit?
He did. He's the only one guy I can think of. He smashed it. You know what he caught him with? A right hook and a left hand.
Sugar Shane Mosley blasted him.
That's what I thought. Mosley hurt him a little bit.
Mosley
hurt him with a right hand.
Yeah.
Twice, right in that same round. Buckled him a little bit.
But Chop was the first time I ever saw.
He rocked him. He fell backwards.
Yeah.
It was a swinging left hand over the top, I think. That he hit him with. He's a southpaw.
And I remember when he won the WBO, and I can't remember the kid's name, but he won the WBO, and he just little step to the side in that left uppercut. You know what I mean?
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. It was a right uppercut. It was his jab punch.
Yeah.
It was a right uppercut, and he just would step over, and he caught that motherfucker early and just took his ass out of there.
How hard did Chop Chop hit? You sparred him.
What was Chop Chop's real name? What was his real name?
Marcus Corley.
Okay.
DeMarcus Corley.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
And he's still active. He's still fucking active.
How old is he? 47, 46, 48?
Yeah, I think he's 47.
And he's in fucking peak shape all the time.
All the time.
I'd never seen that guy out of shape.
He fights 5 times a year.
What weight class? What weight class is he?
He has literally fought everybody from Floyd Mayweather all the way down.
140.
Okay, so he kept his weight low. Wow, that's impressive as fuck. I mean,
he's still 140. Today he's 140.
What is he? Is he a fucking? I mean, he's either a gym rat, he hates food, or he's a crackhead. There's no.
No, he's a serious gym rat.
He's a gym rat. He loves food. All he fucking wants to do is eat candy and shit. And so, I mean, he eats plenty, but he's a gym rat. He doesn't miss his road work. He just lives impeccably. You don't mess with no alcohol, no fucking smoke or nothing.
That's I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible. He'll hold up. Although, how is he mentally? Is he getting punchy or no?
Sharp as a tack.
So his defense is on point.
Sharp as a tack.
Sharper than I am. Fuck.
He was hey, I'll tell you this. He was sharp enough to convince me to buy some of his bullshit equipment that didn't work for my kids.
What do you have special gloves or something like that?
Special gloves.
There are some real special gloves out there, but you got.
They were special. They fell apart about the third time they tried to spar him.
Put him in a yellow bus glove, short yellow bus glove.
But no, Chop is the epitome of a fighter.
I just sent you the video of him rocking Mayweather into YouTube.
Yeah, I
mean from YouTube.
So Errol Spence and Ugas fighting is a big one for. I mean, it seems like the dominoes are starting to. There was the first 2 months of this year, after the excitement of last year, culminating, well, not peaking, but culminating in the crescendo of Fury and Wilder, and then there were some great fights that finished out the year, and now the beginning of the year was like literally after you fuck and you just have no dick. You know, you're a limp dick from January to February, and now we're sitting here getting ready to sort of start the foreplay again into.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that we haven't had any fucking. We had this climax, and then our dicks got completely deprived of all that.
We're just reloading. We were just reloading.
I get a little turned on. You know, I'm trying to bring boxing back to sex. It's a sexy.
The only way that fight. I mean, you say it's huge. I don't see it huge. The only way that it's huge is if Ugas wins.
Well, it's finally something. Again, we're building up to the. It's.
I think he's a legitimate threat to Spence. That's why it's bigger than the other. He's a legitimate guy.
I think Spence is damaged goods.
Well,
Do you
find out?
Yeah,
I think this is a pretty even fight. I haven't seen how Vegas is.
I think Spence is going to beat him.
I think Spence is going to win, but I think it's a very even fight. I mean, I don't have a strong opinion on that. That's just
going to be a war. It's going to be a war, but I think Spence is going to not outbox him, just outwork him.
If Ugas can backdoor his way, if he goes from beating Pacquiao, which, you know, that was iffy, that was going to happen. Now he beats this guy, Ugas becomes a marquee name.
No shit.
Well, I mean,
he's in line for whoever. He's in line for Crawford.
But what I'm saying is, for Spence, he beats Ugas. He's supposed to beat him anyway. It doesn't add any flavor to him.
But not a lot. Not a lot. Not a lot. I get your point.
They're trying to measure what the fuck he's got still, because they don't want. I don't think they want a Crawford fight.
Wait a minute. I thought you said he wasn't damaged goods. That's a damaged goods statement.
No, I said I think his people are trying to maneuver him to a bigger fight, but don't want him to. You just said
they want to see what he's got in the tank.
Yeah, maybe they do.
Okay,
before they fight Crawford.
Those are people that are afraid that he might be damaged goods.
Maybe. I mean, he wasn't a terrible accident, but I'm just saying I don't think they could have made that Crawford fight. They could have did it pay-per-view, but they didn't, because I don't think
pay-per-views have to stop. They just have to stop. Nobody wants.
They got to stop. The pay-per-views are fucking highway robbery.
It's just you just got to stop. They need to start. These promoters need to get smarter and start doing either subscription plans.
Greed will always overtake sense.
Well, until
as long as people are going to pay for it, they're going to keep going with it. That's what's going on.
A lot of them are starting to lose money now. So
well, you know what that Jake Paul one did?
Lost it sent out
under 50,000. That's fucking terrible.
Yeah,
that you don't even make money on that. He lost money on that.
He lost millions on that. Yeah, and deservedly. Although he'll make it in sponsorships.
Hey, maybe he's run its course
and everything else. So
but
Jake Paul make it in other ways.
Huh?
He'll make it.
Maybe Jake Paul has run his course.
Not even
at being a boxer. I think he has.
Not after that knockout, because he's promoting
these big women's fights.
Let me finish. Maybe what I mean run its course by people probably don't want to see him fight these guys anymore. Okay, yeah. They want to see him fight legit guys.
Yes,
and he's talking a lot of shit and calling a lot of guys out, and I think he's in over his head, but. His back's going to be against the wall to shit or get off the pot and fight a real, a dangerous.
And you're getting beaten if you fight one of those guys who's legitimate, a legitimate contender.
So that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's run its course maybe this is the big fight he's looking for. He thought he could squeeze in some more money grabs, but the public's sick of it.
I
No.
think that's probably what. But
Public's not sick of it. What he's doing is smarter than that. So while we're all
he's promoting that women's
But
fight.
you just said, listen, you just said, Patrick, that it was a terrible pay-per-view. So apparently people are not buying it like they were.
No,
like they were.
exactly. They don't give a shit
And
about that
that's
anymore.
those
I'm
are the
telling-
numbers. That
Listen,
knockout on
Jimmy.
that fucking guy, that didn't matter. It was the numbers in the box office.
Jimmy, I'm telling you that it did matter. So I'll tell you why.
It didn't matter. It didn't
so
matter.
it-
because
it
people
ma- it
paid
mattered
for
a lot.
before
I
the
earlier,
knockout happened.
while you guys were sitting around earlier today, I bought a Real Apes Club Public Mint, which is a Jake Paul release of NFTs. And I've done the math on this. He has like 6,000 of these things. They're about, $300 a piece. So you probably made $1.8 million today because his name is on everybody's mouth.
Oh, he's a good businessman, no doubt.
And
I mean,
then he's going
definitely
to-
marketing
And then he's going to make 2.5% on every sale beyond that. So as it accelerates, this is going to be residual income in his pocket. The guy, and I'm sure he has investors and other stuff, but you make $250,000 in a day that accelerates into millions over time.
But
Um,
you're getting off topic. We're talking about
But
him
I'm
being
not.
a legit boxer.
No, I'm not, because he was never meant to be a legit boxer.
No, that's what we were talking about.
You're off course then. The whole thing was always a publicity play. He is a legit fighter. He'll play that until it goes out of style. He'll call out all the big names. He'll do whatever. He's picked his fights appropriately right now, and God bless him for well. But he's going to start calling out bigger and bigger names. But he's already got what he wants. He's got longevity in a career that will make him an expert in other things outside of boxing forever. And if he decides to stay in promotions, he's going to do real well there as well. This will be the one shit stain on his career. And when your one shit stain on your career is, hey, I ended up making millions because I knocked somebody out in what will be debated as knockout of the year. And that's that finally people go, wow, I didn't pay for that, but I would have gotten my money's worth. His next one against a real opponent is going to do real well. And even if it doesn't do well, he's going to make
Against a real opponent.
Well, I mean, again, this is Woodley is a real opponent, but people had already seen it and it was boring. Woodley's was a boring fucking opponent.
But he's not a boxer. He's got to fight a boxer. That's the number one thing. It's got to be a real professional boxer.
Or somebody with a really interesting, either way, at this point now, after that knockout, he's got a little bit more clout. But again, even if he eats shit for fucking 500 grand or $1 million on a pay-per-view, he's going to make millions on other things just by having his name out there. The guy is actually he's bifurcating his business licensing name, and he's making these fighters think that it's not just about the sponsors in the ring. It's not just about that moment that you're there. You can use that leverage that you have to make money for a long, long time in other ways. It's actually really fun to watch for me.
Very, very good points. All business points. I'm talking about his run in the ring is starting to slow down. He's going to have to fight better guys.
Let me ask you, does it matter
if
to
he beats them? It doesn't matter at this point. That's fine.
That's my point. Yeah, it's amazing. The run is amazing, but at this point, the momentum will propel forever. He could fight the toilet guy, and it doesn't matter. He's going to use that momentum with what he's done, which is impressive. He doesn't need to fight anybody, but God bless him. The dude's calling out the biggest names, and most of them he's calling out are UFC fighters. But because he knows it's a different sport and he likes to fuck with Dana White.
Hey, Patrick, maybe he could fight Chop Chop.
Chop Chop would give him a run for his money. That'd be a very dangerous fight for him. He would be so many shots, so many angles.
Yeah, that'd be very dangerous.
How old is Chop Chop now?
I think he's 47, 48.
I mean, shit, dude, that'd be amazing. Although I'm sure that's not the big name payday. He likes to grab the big boys. He's actually training MMA right now and talking shit to real MMA people. We'll see how that goes, man. I mean, he's actually, what he's doing is pretty interesting because
It's amazing.
It's
amazing.
Incredible. Like
I should have got in on that. Jimmy should have got in on this. We should have been our idea. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know enough about how this guy got started with his YouTube stuff, but so many of these guys got involved in that and they blew their names up and
Yeah. I would have
stupid
never.
shit. I don't even know.
That's so out of my wheelhouse.
he's making a career out of talking shit and backing it up. Like
And
it's
Jimmy has
amazing.
4 little horsies behind his head.
and
with
other things.
fucking unicorns or something.
Jimmy's making his career out of not getting rid of the 4. I hope he never gets rid of it.
How long are we gonna have to look at the fucking 4 unicorns behind you?
Hopefully forever. It's the most charming thing I've ever seen.
Look at that butch. That one is kind of butch. With the,
Every
Hey,
time
listen. I was told to do a job. God damn it, I did it. And that motherfucker is gonna stay there.
That's right.
what are their names,
Thank you.
Jim? What do you have? What do you call them? The Nina, the
This is
Pinta, Santa Maria.
This is Patty. This is Deborah. No, that's Deborah. And I'm waiting to name her. What do we name her?
This, I don't know. Where's the fucking fox?
How about Janice?
You'll never see the fox again. The fox is
I want the fox. I disagree with the background.
I should. Yeah, I'm glad to ship the fox up to Patrick so he can hang out with his crippled dog.
Hey, listen. She may be slow. Robo might move slow.
I'll ship you my dog too. My dog. Every time my mom comes into town, I fight with her about the dog. She likes the dog better than she likes the dog better than me. She likes the dog better than the children. She likes the dog, like literally the dog is her favorite thing.
Well, I like the dog better than just about everybody too.
She's a dog, and I grew up that way as well. But she grew up that way. So it's every time she comes in, it's a big point of contention. You know, I have the dog. It's an outdoor dog. You know, if
What does that mean?
Meaning my bottom floor is polished concrete. Basically, it's epoxy.
Okay.
Whenever the dog comes in, she's old. She takes 2 steps and she falls all over the place. It'll break her bones. So I've got a fenced-in backyard with an indoor-outdoor area and another separate fence. Basically, I've spent.
Oh, it doesn't get cold down there. I guess, right?
Yeah, it does, but then I've got a heater, like a full-time heater. Like at nighttime, if it drops below 45, I've got a full-time heater. Put her by the window. It's a whole thing to make sure your dog's okay. I take that shit seriously, and but for the most part, she's just hanging out with other animals in the yard all the time. I mean, it's the best life for an animal.
Dogs
ever.
love that. There's nothing better than a big yard for a dog.
Sniffing around, shitting wherever it wants to shit, you know, going in and out, water, food, and pets, and we go out and hang out with the dog, and then the dog's got its spot right by us. I go out and hang out with it at night. But whenever she comes, she there's something isn't right. Something could be upgraded. You know, last time she made me buy the dog a doghouse. That doghouse has never been used once. It's been sitting on the side of the house. It was like a $275 thing plus an hour to put this motherfucker together. The
Hey,
dog was scared
before I
of
forget,
it.
Eric, funny story about a doghouse.
Yeah.
My dad always tells this story about my mom. She made him get our old dog an outhouse, like a doghouse for the backyard, because it was on this chain. It would run back and forth. And when we left, we wanted to keep it outside. So my dad says he toiled over putting this thing together. And we finally fucking set it up out there. And he said he drove home, pouring fucking rain, he said, and the dog is standing on top of the fucking doghouse. It's not inside the doghouse. It's shivering standing on top of the doghouse.
Hey, I just got that's fucking amazing. I just got a really piece of big news, gentlemen. Do
You're pregnant?
the Canadian trucker thing. I wish. I mean,
Wow, what happened?
so the Canada's lifted all Canadian provinces have lifted all COVID mandates. The truckers have won. And this is truly I mean, fucking absolutely beautiful moment in history. I don't know.
What are we celebrating? I don't know. What are we
You don't
talking
know
about?
what's been going on in Canada, dude?
No, I don't know what's
Truckers,
going on.
nothing?
What's
It's been going on for like a month.
what is it?
The truckers have gone and said, enough is enough. We're not dealing with the vaccine mandates. We're gonna stand up for people having the right not to have the government shove needles into their arms.
So what did they do? They
And
stuffed up
vaccine
traffic.
passports. So vaccines, but they occupied Ottawa with the largest gathering of trucks in the history.
Well, who's gonna if they gotta deal with them,
I-
because they move everything.
And
They
the
really
beautiful
shut it
thing-
down.
They shut it down, and they did it really peacefully. I mean, if you look at the trucks too, they're all covered in children's art now. The homeless people that are interviewed are like, these guys are amazing. It's free food. The truckers built like shelters of places you could make
Free
food
maple
back to
syrup.
the home.
Free
I mean-
maple syrup.
They had everything. I mean, so it was like the most
Hot
peaceful thing in
cider.
the world, other than the fact that an Antifa person ran into the caravan and hurt a couple people. It was the most peaceful thing in the world, but the whole country shut down. And then they shut down the border between Canada and the US in two or three different spots. And the tow truck drivers, they were like, all right, you guys go tow these people out. So the tow truck drivers said, sorry, we're all sick with COVID, which was
They towed
fucking-
themselves out.
They took
Are you
themselves out.
fucking so what you're telling me is that Canada is setting the example for us now.
Correct. Canada has the balls, Canada has the nuts, and Canada has now neutered the United States.
We have
You
plenty of
believe
trucks
that
here.
shit? Fucking Canada.
I have, for many years, I'm
I
on the
love
record
Canada.
saying I hate.
I've never been there.
No, I've been on the record saying I don't like Canadians because they take up all my time. I have now flipped my script, and all those people that took up all my time with their kindness because they spent a fucking hour on like what should have been a 2-minute conversation. I'm now thankful for my time with my Canadian brethren.
I
It's
used
beautiful.
to rank Canada right beneath Dundalk.
Ooh.
Fucking oh, that's a joke. That's a Maryland joke. No,
I know
but-
Dundalk, but
What is
Yeah,
that?
it's-
I would, if you had just thrown in Maryland in general, I would have been with you. The whole fucking
Yeah.
state.
PG
Yeah.
County?
No, that's racist.
No, I just
Terribly
I
racist.
mean they fucking gained my respect today. They gained my
What?
respect.
I don't know. No, I'm just joking about the racist thing, by the way. But
What's up?
Maryland-
So let me ask you guys this.
Hey,
anything
can I
off,
bring
anything
bring something up.
anything off of East 4 is a disaster in Maryland. Eastern. Go ahead.
let's talk about something because it's kind of it might work into a funny subject or a good subject. But so
Are you guys really
Locally-
bailing on fucking Canada this fast? You're gonna try to transition to some local horse shit.
They do have a good
The
national
entire
anthem.
fucking country.
thank you. Hey, 100% you are correct, and I
I was
apologize.
gonna say you're gonna just go, oh, that's fine. Let's move on. And
No, hey,
fucking
I'm
whatever.
a fucking moron and I'm punchy. That was stupid. I'll talk about it later. Let's keep this going.
This is a moment where they've set the stage worldwide, globally, that all these here's the part. So there's so much to dissect here. These are workers. Okay, so if you look at the Marxist moment, if you look at what Karl Marx said, he said, "Workers of the world unite." That was his favorite thing in the world. Is workers of the world unite. This is a moment where the workers of the world actually united. And the elite shat themselves. And they actually tried everything they could to shit on it, including stealing the gas from the truckers. They tried to have tow truckers do it. Tow truckers said no. The cops came out to do their jobs. They had the cops stealing gas from truckers. So what did the citizens do? They brought out unlimited canisters of gas and said, go fuck yourself. They said, You can't honk anymore. It's a crime. The truckers honked more. And all of a sudden everything fell in a peaceful way into the way it should be. It's one of the most beautiful moments. It's better than Gandhi. It's better than the story of laying in front of tanks. It's the most beautiful story of peaceful disruption to make a government do the right thing by their people that's ever been done in history, and it deserves respect, like tremendous respect. It's not a joke. Provinces that we're removing all these guidelines, people are able to get back to. They're getting rid of vaccine passports. Those vaccine passports, we're really gonna, target all in China. Do you know what they do in China, Jimmy? Have you looked into this? You know anything?
No.
If you interact with somebody the Chinese government doesn't like, you lose score. If you Google things or pull up things online they don't like, you lose score. If you buy alcohol, you lose score. And eventually they can make you do whatever. If you go to buy a trip to go see your kids, can't get on that plane, can't get on that train. You've done enough bad things. If you speak out against the government in any way and you don't say positive things, if you say positive things, you gain score. If you say negative things about the government, you lose score. It's a complete control. We're the ones that helped them implement that. So that was in the plans for Canada, that we're using the vaccine passports, and it was in the plan for us. And it still is. Don't be, they aren't going to take all that technology and go. But I think what the elites realized is the people that are not of the workers realized is we got to get these automatic trucks going quick. You're going to see an acceleration of automatic trucks going real fucking fast.
It's a fucking no-brainer. It was just so my heart swells, I just wish we could fucking get our shit together over here.
Well, our truckers were, which is what, if you see, last.
No. In every facet, okay? Just like Joe Rogan, he bent the knee and he's going to be sorry for it. We need to stand up for our rights and take this fucking country back.
I'm not willing to say Joe Rogan bent the knee. What he did do, in my opinion, in the first apology, is his first apology was very craftily worded. He actually worked in here's what happened. If you listen to it, you realize that he gave props to the people and their credentials for whom he had interviewed. He did not apologize for that.
Right.
But what he did do is apologize for hurting people's feelings. And then he neutered Neil Young in his own way by giving a charming Neil Young thing and saying, I love him. But Neil Young's an old palm. He's like Biden. He's run by whoever bought his music. The second apology, with all the N-words being put together and strung together, that was a government hit piece.
You think you think that's a coincidence?
Of course not. Every single bit of this was a planned, coordinated attack in the same way Russiagate was. It was all a sequence of events that they used to destroy an individual. And it's a pattern. And the beautiful thing is, now that we get to see this horse shit over and over again, it's so much easier to identify.
I can identify horse shit immediately when I see horse shit.
You can smell it.
No, but let me say this. This is a huge problem, and this is going to definitely blow up in somebody's face because, in my opinion, and I'm more liberal than you guys. I'm a moderate, probably a Democrat. I don't know. And I'm saying they got this guy wrong. It's not what they're saying. They are misjudging him. And it's kind of pathetic that they have taken out some sound bites and chopped them up and put them together from 20 years ago.
Do you know who took those sound bites out?
If they listened to the show, they would know how stupid they sound. Because it's not like that. I listen to the fucking show.
Yeah. I'm glad you say that because Patrick doesn't follow this nonsense. And I wish I didn't. I really wish I didn't. But it's awesome to hear you say that, because if you're just a standard listener, you know that that's not the tone or the heart of that show at all.
But dude, he's got fucking everybody goes on that show. Everybody goes on that show.
And he treats him with love and respect. And,
Bullshit.
You can use the same defense for 90% of the shit that happens is context and
Of course.
the people that know the person, you know, and how they were saying it or their style of comedy or whatever they do. Context is everything. And they're taking a word and isolating it and taking the context away on how it was used.
Exactly. Exactly.
And they're doing that to
And
Web.
not just, they're
Because
doing it
context-
across the board. They're doing
Well,
it across the board.
So if you bring up a great point. So again, if you remember, you and I said, what would you say to Joe if we're best friends? I would never have apologized. I'd say, look, the context is huge. The person who did that video, we know who it is. It's a Democrat super PAC that works directly with the Democrats in power. And they've been doing these hit pieces for years. The beautiful part too is that super PAC, it's a bunch of young guys. I don't know their names because why learn them, but they were attacking the guy from Barstool Sports too. He found one of their ex-wives sent him a text of one of the guys in the super PAC using the N-word in a text casually, not within context, but he's a mad fucking racist. So the guy,
Hey, did you see what Rashad Evans said today?
wait, what is it?
Did you see what Rashad Evans said today?
Did you hear what I just said?
No.
Patrick, wake the fuck up.
Yeah. Jimmy, what do you think about
Oh,
that?
I just jumped back on a second ago, but what I
Yeah,
missed it.
yeah. I was gonna say that's so out of context with what we're talking about right now. It's like, what the fuck? No, the guy who actually planned that Rogan attack got busted, Patrick, just to bring you up to speed. He got busted in his private conversations using the N-word casually with his ex-wife, who gave the conversation to somebody else. So the guy who pieced together all those N-word things
I haven't heard about this.
is actually a massive racist in the real. Well, that's the way it works all the
I
time.
haven't
But they're
heard
all a
about
bunch of
this.
fucking hypocrites.
When did this happen?
It's pure hypocrisy. Oh, where are you going to hear about the massive media? But look into a Barstool Sports interview with the guys that did this. It's a deep dive. You're not going to hear any media talk about this. You have to listen to the Barstool Sports interview with it and follow their Instagram page and where they break out how this all happened. But go ahead, Patrick. What were you saying about
Rashad Evans, what Rashad Evans said about Joe Rogan,
no? What
he
about it?
said not to excuse any of it, but at the same time, when you go back that far, I'm sure you could be a compilation of unfavorable things that a lot of people could have said and come back to bite them. Evans said in it, and he said, I think Rashad points out, depending on political affiliation, some people are given a pass in situations like Joe Biden. Our president is given a pass. He says the same word in this. There are so many things I've heard him say that sound racist. I've heard him use the N-word in a context that Joe used it. That's completely overlooked. And he is considered to be the savior.
I mean, it's very kind of him, but really it's two completely different things. The real thing is I give Joe Rogan a complete pass because there was no racism in his heart. And I give President Biden and his son no pass because nobody's bringing up the fact that Hunter Biden actually had the word N multiple times in his text messages to his attorney in a casual way. So if you're using the N-word to your attorney, you're talking to your fucking attorney and you're dropping the N-word, you're dropping that word a lot. Your father has a long history of segregationism, of memorializing fucking Klansmen,
You gotta be an
dropping
idiot.
the N-word, of talking about fucking a corn pop. And you could tell in the middle of his corn pop story with the black kids rubbing his legs, he hates black people. And he's completely upset
What
by
are
the
we
whole thing.
talking about?
What the fuck?
And when you look at Corn Pop getting out of the pool, you know that motherfucker said the N-word to Corn Pop to get him pissed off.
It's
Corn
like the
Pop could've
fucking
done it-
Twilight Zone. How did
Corn
this
Pop-
guy get past the fucking security?
Corn Pop could have done us all a favor by fucking razoring this old fucking senile cocksucker a long time ago. I'm not
All
talking No, I'm talking about other people. Not talking about Joe. Joe's a lovely human being. The corn
You
pop.
can't air out your father issues on this show, Eric.
I know we all need to pull it back so that we need to pull it back. We need to pull it back. But corn pop had the reason he was angry. You and I both know it wasn't because he said, "Get out of the pool, you." If you guys watch that story, you could tell he goes, "Get out of the pool, you Nancy." Like, that's not what he said. He didn't say Nancy. You know, Corn Pop didn't wait outside to kick Joe's ass, assuming the story was real.
It probably wasn't. It probably wasn't.
I know, but again, the whole get out of the school, you Nancy. Either way, Joe said the N-word last week, and his son's typing the N-word. Where do you think his son got that from? So and this is why if I'm Joe Rogan, imagine a reporter coming to me and I spit this shit out to the reporter.
I'm just laughing all the way to the bank. I mean, he might as well just carry on.
So you guys, what you guys think is, Eric, you're taking it too far. But imagine I'm Joe Rogan and I spit that shit out at a reporter. Do you think that they're going to quote me? Do you think that they're going to come back for more quotes? Do you think that they're going to be interested in this story very long? No. That's how you fucking win. So that's what my entire point is with the aggression that you just saw. That's how you fucking win. Because if they can't quote you and it's going to take them down a path that they don't want, they're going to drop it like a motherfucking hot potato. You never go on the defense. You always go on the offensive. And there's your lesson for the day. I'd like to take a bow.
Thank you, Professor Beans.
I mean,
I don't know what just.
That's how you beat the media. You give them a hot potato, and don't get me started on all the other shit that I could say. You throw. I was just.
I'm sure. We're just.
You don't sit there and curl up in the turtle. You just start throwing some. You throw.
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Nightmares.
It's a tutorial on how to handle the media in 2022. I mean, he's a very kind and gentle man, but he did say on his podcast today that I listened to, he knows that it was a coordinated attack. He knows where it came from. He knows it's from the government, which is where.
I hope he knows that it ain't over.
Well, I love what he said. He goes, I'm glad that all this is out. You know, I'm glad it's out. I'm glad I can address it. I'm glad I can overcome it. So he just took their power away when he said that. Yep. You know, it's not, the power's gone. You make your amends and you move forward. So he's an old school. He's a jujitsu guy. He understands how to take an attack, take a beating, let it roll off, learn from it, move forward, and use that energy against him. And he was out there firing today on all cylinders like normal. So I have no doubt that attack is not done, but I have absolute faith that he's going to handle it in the right way. Although the media is completely mischaracterizing what he said as an apology for misinformation, which is in and of itself.
They're completely mischaracterizing what he said in general.
It's not true.
No, of course, but they've bastardized it. So in their attack to attack him for misinformation, they're telling you that he apologized for misinformation, which is
misinformation.
And this is why they lose all credibility. They like literally, these are people that have fucked up every major story for 6 years, and now they're like, it's Joe Rogan's fault. You know, no. Start telling the truth. Stop lying about everything.
Dinosaur. Joe Rogan shot a Stegosaurus.
Did you see that? Did you see that?
He should be punished.
Yeah, the Stegosaurus. He should be punished. How do people not know that dinosaurs haven't been shot? Like, let's get back to educate. How is that possible that somebody doesn't know that dinosaurs haven't been shot?
Haven't been shot? What's that mean?
There was a man on the street doing a video where you'd walk up and go, Joe Rogan shot a Stegosaurus and
oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
you're like,
because they don't listen. They're getting ready for their answer. They don't want to hear what you say. They want to hear what they're going to say about.
You're right.
what
They're
you
not
say.
processing the question.
It would be amazing to do a cross parallel with people like that on how they do in marriage. Because if you can't listen to a basic question with somebody with a microphone, how are you going to listen to the person you're married to for 30 years?
The first thing I would say is, what's a brontosaurus? And he would say that's a you know what I mean? Because maybe it's something I don't fucking know. You know,
Could be one of those things behind your head.
yeah. They heard the word Joe Rogan. They know that there's a controversy, and they want to pile on one way or the other.
And jump their pants. I like that one guy.
Nobody-
Yeah, those don't exist. He's like, yeah, I want to high five
it.
that guy. I'd be like, you, good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have a fucking brain there, buddy.
You actually listen. You're able to digest and call bullshit up. But most people, they literally, I think the hypnotic brain is the people that are able to be hypnotized are the ones that don't think while they're hearing info. So that guy is not a hypnotizable person because he actually listens, digests, runs it through his bullshit meter. His bullshit meter catches it like McAfee virus scan back in the day. But most of these people doesn't get through their bullshit meter, and all of a sudden they're completely like along with it.
They just look so foolish. But
It's embarrassing. So real quick, first of all, I don't know if I said this, but you remember the gerbil in the ass thing. I just want to say for the record, there are 0 records of gerbils ever being in people's asses. That's a conspiracy theory for real. So I did deep dove on gerbils in the asses after our gerbil in the ass segment. And I found that there have been light bulbs in.
How deep? How deep was that deep dive?
I went deep. I went so deep. I went very deep. I went very
got deep down in the.
so there has been no gerbils in asses in the
There
emergency
have been
room.
literally light bulbs, dinosaur.
No.
Dinosaurs.
Gerbils.
Actually, no
Gerbils.
gerbil. Not a single record of a gerbil being up a human being's asshole has been documented. And
He did a
everything
deep dive
else-
on that deep dive.
everything
Hey, to
else
me,
imagine is up there.
To me, that sounds like a challenge.
It does. It's the Great Gerbil Challenge. The beers are.
Have you ever researched that before, Jimmy? This is a very popular topic.
Become an honorary guest on Beers and Brawlers.
So beers and brawlers, gerbil challenge.
You've got to be
you be the
recorded.
If you're the first person, you can get in the Guinness Book of World Records, right?
That's right.
You
We can get this fucking certified if you do it.
You could be the one that sets the. You could create history.
This is
that's
big.
Robert-
This is big. This is like a hot dog eating contest, except bigger.
Much bigger. I mean, you got to figure out how to do it, but I mean, if you can make it work, I'd start with a small gerbil. Let's
All right,
cover our
I
evil.
want to say something. That was
A small
terrific how you held that together about the Canadians.
Yeah.
So thank you, because I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, and then Patrick did the same shit right in the middle of it. But that was a cool subject. Are we past that?
We'll never be past it, but we're past it for now. We're on to gerbils and other things of fine nature. Go ahead, Jimmy. Yeah.
So quick 30-second story and then a topic. So the boys are excited because it's going to be their first mention in Ring Magazine.
That's
Okay.
fucking, yeah. With the
So
Pepe story.
the Pepe story.
That was awesome.
So,
Yeah.
So no. How fucking funny is it? It doesn't say their names. It only says Jimmy Lang's twin sons.
I mean, that's the way media works, baby. Either way, it's still I don't know. Jimmy Lang's twins. I mean, right now
Still got it, baby. Still got it. Still
you
the
still got
alpha.
it for now until they go out and do their thing. That they're always going to be Jimmy Lang's twins.
That's right.
They're going to have to make their own way the hard way. They're going to have to
So-
abuse. Yeah.
So although we're worldwide, we're big in Southeast Asia and different.
Everybody's
countries.
big in Southeast Asia. All you have to
I'm
do
gonna go. I want to go. I want to go local. I want to go local Washington.
You hear
okay?
that joke? That was a very racist joke. You have to be 4'9" to be large in Southeast Asia. They can cut that out later.
I don't get it. They can cut that out later.
Cut it out. Jump cut. Eric, very racist.
So there's
As long
There's
as
some
you
people-
can, yeah, go ahead.
there's some people that are very up in arms about a tweet that one of the Washington Redskins just made.
I was gonna bring this up to you.
Okay.
Fucking awesome. Yeah.
All
go
right.
ahead.
So
Yeah.
what happened was a D-line, Jonathan Allen. He had an answer. He said, what was it? He said, if you could have,
Who would you like to have a meal with? Like
yes. So
three
someone
people?
asked him who 3 people you would like to have a meal with. And he said his grandfather, Michael Jackson,
And Adolf
Hitler.
Hitler. Yeah.
and Hitler.
Adolf Hitler. Yeah. I mean,
I don't
again,
see the fucking problem.
I mean, a pedophile and like the most evil guy in the world. Again, I see no problem with it because that's his opinion. He wants to learn from people. And Michael
Yes.
Jackson, again, we didn't talk about him in the best front man because he wasn't part of a band. But you
No.
talk about a best front man.
Michael
MJ
Jackson is a fucking beast.
is a fucking beast. I mean, of course, MJ. But what I'd most like to say,
And
to-
I don't know. I can't comment on the pedophile shit because you hear so much shit. I mean,
I've
if it
worked
looks
into it a lot. I don't know. It's seems not 80, but either way, it's Michael Jackson. He did
He
Thriller.
was a weird guy. He was
Very
a
strange.
weird fucking guy. Maybe that's what happens when at fucking 5 your childhood is taken away from you.
I'm pretty
and
sure
you're thrown into this.
he was probably if he was probably abused as a kid. Not that that excuses anything, but Michael was probably whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's
Yeah,
pretend.
I just
Either way, let me pretend that Michael Jackson isn't a pedophile. He's not very much fun to hang out with. In real life, he sat there looking like a princess. He was interesting on stage creatively, but he was not like a fucking fun guy to hang out with. And conversely, Adolf Hitler, and I know this because I'm a history buff, behind closed doors while you were sitting around eating dinner with Adolf Hitler, you know what he was talking about? How the Jews had lice and how the Jews were terrible and how the Jews were diseased. He was no fucking picnic to hang out with either. So that would be the worst dinner ever. I don't know if his father could crack some jokes or if he thinks that it would be fucking somehow he's going to pull some stuff out of two of the
okay.
boring forget the fact that Hitler killed Jews and forget the fact that Michael Jackson, may have touched kids. Their personalities were not good. They weren't like fucking picnics. to
You're
hang out.
getting off the subject. So
But I'm on subject. I'm trying to tell him it's his fucking
it's his fucking dinner, and he's
It
got a
is.
right.
I'm just
Okay,
telling he's
so
fucking
his
terrible
reasoning,
dinner host.
his reasoning
Yeah.
for picking Hitler. I guess he didn't have to pick.
He's a history buff and wanted to ask questions.
He's very interested. He's obsessed with like military tactics and things like that.
Should have gone with Alexander the Great or Genghis Khan. Hitler law. Genghis Khan means shit, dude. Get your shit together. What a terrible fucking choice.
Well, they're saying that he hurt that people are hurt by this tweet, and far be it from me to trounce on somebody's feelings, but I think we got to fucking grow up, because I think it's a legit person to say. Whether or not Beans thinks it's interesting or not, but that's a pretty fucking interesting person. I'm not gonna pick somebody.
But you see why how people would be offended by that.
The word
No,
Hitler freaks
no.
people out.
They might see
No.
it that you like Hitler. That's how they're seeing it.
Hey,
I
maybe
respect it.
maybe you want
I
to have
respect
dinner
it.
with him so you can beat his ass. I don't know.
I agree, but
No,
I mean,
or you
I just
can
think it
learn
was a
from
stupid answer, regardless of if he wanted to say it or not, and it's his opinion. But you're putting that shit out there. You're a guy. Your owner's a Jewish guy. I mean, It's stupid. It just seems like it's a stupid answer.
You're right. The owner is a Jewish guy. Now the answer is so much smarter right now. It's such a better. I'm starting to respect.
I'm not saying
it.
that I think I think he meant anything by it. I
What
just think
would
it was
you
just kind of
say-
stupid. They're right.
What
put
would
out
you,
there.
what- all right, if you had one question to ask Adolf Hitler, what would you guys ask him?
I'm not interested in Hitler, but I could see how somebody would be.
Well, no, I'm telling you, if you have one question that bring Hitler back, he's in front of you and he's right there with you for a second,
I got no
completely
questions.
and he's got to fucking answer the question. Like, what would you ask him?
I don't care. I mean, to fucking talk to
Dude,
him.
you got to, I don't care what you want to talk. It's
Did
a
they ever
fucking
find his
question.
body?
Dude, shut the fuck up and answer the question. What would you answer? I mean, what do you,
Can I ask you a question for? Did they ever
I
find
don't
his
want to
body?
answer a question. Hitler. You know what? I
Shut
don't
the
know.
fuck up. Shut up.
Hitler.
Did they ever find Hitler's body?
Dude, of course, it's not. No, of course not. It was
Okay,
all
so I would
bullshit.
ask him if he how did he die?
That's a great question. Like, how did you? Because he apparently had a kid in Argentina, Black Hitler. He had a Black Hitler kid with a black woman. He went and had a black child. That
So
was
that would be the only
And by the
interest
way,
I would have.
This conversation has gone downhill.
no, it hasn't. This is fucking awesome. You guys just don't
We're
want
talking about black Nazi kids from Hitler
I'm
now.
having a great
Well-
having a great time. I think that for somebody to say that causes grief and pain.
I don't see how that could cause any grief.
I don't
It's a
care what
stupid thing to
people
say.
cause me. I don't care what people think about their grief and pain. They're pathetic, ridiculous, sad lives and opinions.
What about his right to
Don't matter.
fucking say what he wants?
That's the part that I care about. The guy actually fucking had balls enough to say what he felt in his heart. He wanted to hang out with Michael Jackson and Hitler. First of all, putting the two of them at a table would be one of the most fucking interesting things in the world. Can you imagine Michael Jackson and Hitler sitting next to each other? That'd be hilarious. Even if they're both horrible people, it would be so awkward. Just to get a picture of your grandfather,
Hey,
yourself,
hey.
Michael Jackson, and Hitler together.
And we still don't know what his grandfather's like.
His grandfather might have been the cut up. Might have been like
Yeah, he might have been Jack the Ripper. Who knows?
that. He might have been like Richard Pryor, just coming in there firing away. You know, that's but again, that's his opinion, man. I mean, how are you going to shit on somebody's opinion? You know what I mean? Like,
He should say you should be careful, and he's got to be like, not that whatever.
I don't
it's
give a shit about care.
You're 100% correct, and it's a fucking shame. You're correct. He should have been careful, but that's a shame.
because you wouldn't have said that if you were asked that.
I would say whatever the fuck I felt like saying, and he said whatever the fuck he felt like saying. And enough being careful. I hate people that are careful. That's why people are pussies. I'm sick of pussies. I don't want any fucking careful. Don't be
Fair
careful
enough.
with words, thoughts. If somebody asks your opinion, give them your fucking opinion. Don't apologize for it. Own your words and fucking move on. And if people are offended, fuck them. That's their problem. They can
I
suck
stand.
dick.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
with
that's my- that-
exactly what you
yeah.
said.
I agree, but I also agree with my point that in his position, he should have known that is touchy subject, and he should have been more careful.
I mean, he was
But he
pretty
has the right
sweet.
to say
He was
whatever
a
he
hell of a.
wants.
He was a hell. I mean, if you want to go out to have, talk about Hitler, why'd you do what you did? Why did you hate the Jews? Do you regret hating the Jews? What did you do with your body? I mean, there's a lot of great historical questions. You know, you can't just shun a guy because he was a fucking. And Hitler's not the worst mass killer in history. He's the one that gets the worst rap. But I mean, Hitler was funded by a lot of the companies right now that are making our pharmaceutical products. So is Hitler that bad? A hell of a lot of the United States companies right now today that we're pumping shit into our bodies supported Adolf Hitler directly. And we don't think twice about it. Actually, after World War II, we imported almost the entire Nazi intelligence community into our intelligence community on purpose, thousands of them, so that the Russians and other people wouldn't get these high-level intelligence people. A Nazi sent us to the moon, allegedly. So the guy in charge of our entire space mission to the moon during the Kennedy years was a Nazi. Everybody that came into our intelligence community is a Nazi. So you don't think our intelligence community is run by Nazi influence? So how bad was he? Was he so bad that we decided we had to shun him? Or was he so bad that we decided we had to absorb him? It's a legit question. I mean, these are historical documents. This is real shit. I'm not making things up. These are released documents where we said, all right, after World War II, they have incredible expertise. They've done all these human experimentation. They've created, all these scientific things about how to brainwash people or what the breaking point of man is, or how to do these things that are unethical. Well, fuck, we could let other countries have that, or we could absorb them. Well, of course, what did we do? We actively went and absorbed them. And so a big a heartbeat of the United States right now is based off of Nazis that we brought over to run our intelligence agencies. That's legitimately, and you can trace that to MK Ultra and all sorts of other weird shit that we've been up to.
Dude, this podcast is about to get shut down. They're about to fucking shut us down, Eric.
This is all public information. What I'm saying is
The black
Not on Tumblr.
this is nothing controversial. There's not a single thing here that hasn't been.
No, I
released.
100% know that the CIA smuggled out Nazis like Klaus Barbie and a couple other and many others,
Correct.
and used them for their own whatever they wanted. Their own military. They were mercenaries.
It's public. This is public information.
That's public knowledge.
Yeah, all of the information. It's just most people don't know it just because it's been released. It's not like we're like, oh, we're gonna create some. We're just telling you what's already been released by the government. But
Before I forget,
yeah,
I want to get onto a more interesting subject, if you guys don't mind.
go for it, Patrick. We gotta protect Patrick's because Patrick has nothing to do with these. Patrick has nothing to do with this stuff.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's gonna be my new segue.
Who's gonna win the Super Bowl?
The Rams are going to win, unfortunately. I mean, I'm a lifelong Rams fan, but I actually love Burrow. But that Rams defensive line is going to destroy that offensive line of Cincinnati. And they've seen that short passing game in the last game. And they're going to be, those corners in LA are too good.
What's the spread?
The only chance, because Cincinnati could have had a chance to work the middle of the field. And if you watch that Tampa Bay game, very early in the game, Gronk ran a post right past the linebackers where he was wide open and he was missed, but it would have been a potential 30, 40-yard pass. The only chance Cincinnati has are big plays in the slot. That's going to be their big thing. But they lost Ooze.
Wait, Gronk.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Tampa Bay game versus LA. You can watch.
Oh, I thought you were saying Cincinnati.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, LA. You could see Gronk got wide open and Brady just barely missed him, but it would have been a long pass. But you could see Cincinnati doing the same thing with Tyler Boyd. So one of the prop bets, if we're going to talk prop bets, I think Tyler Boyd's a great prop bet because I don't think they're going to have a ton of time. And I think that we're going to see a lot of short passes and or big plays in the slot because Cincinnati lost their tight end. So I think Tyler Boyd's the key to this game. If he can beat the linebackers and or safeties, and he used to be a number one wide receiver, so he should. He's in his prime. If he can, Tyler Boyd's the key to this game. So good prop bettors, the St. Louis Rams over their sack total, which I think is like 4.5. And I think Tyler Boyd.
You think they're going to get over 4.5 sacks?
I don't think so.
I mean,
I don't think so.
Tennessee had 9. Tennessee had 9, and Cincinnati still won.
They tightened up since then. That's a lot. That doesn't happen.
The Tennessee Titans had 9 sacks, and the Bengals still won.
Did you know that
that's
the
double.
year the Redskins won the Super Bowl in 1992, they had 9 sacks given up all season?
That's I was watching Rippon during that year.
shit.
Rippon was not getting touched ever. He had all day to hit.
9
Do you
sacks
think?
all season.
Do you think Rippon is the most limited quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, physically, yeah, he was a big.
Trent Dilfer.
Well, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl, but Rippon was back there winging it. I mean,
he had a gunslinger. He was a gunslinger. He could really.
He had
wing
15 minutes to throw the fucking
he had
ball.
15 minutes. Again, Doug Williams, Rippon, Trent Dilfer, these are all legitimate people to talk about. But Rippon was you kind of put Rippon in that Kurt Warner category.
That's exactly who I put him with.
Because he was just throwing bombs and touchdowns.
it. Man, they just opened up on everybody that year.
Jimmy,
Throw it as high and far as you can, and they'll run under it.
Their receiving core was Art Monk, Ricky Sanders, and Gary Clark.
Yep.
And I don't know who the tight end was.
At RFK, and so I saw Rippon and the Redskins. Holly Caps. You remember Holly Caps from O'Connell? She went to either way. She took me to a Redskins game, and I happened to catch Rippon and the Redskins during Brett Favre's first pro game ever. So I caught first ever, and
where was that?
At RFK. So Brett Favre, he was with the Falcons.
I had to be there.
He threw like 2 fucking interceptions that day.
I think I was at that game. I went to the Falcons game that year.
And the Redskins won like 56-14 or something. Like it was a blowout. But they threw Brett Favre in junk time.
What?
Of course, I didn't think anything of it, but that was the game that Brett Favre threw his first passes, and I happened to be there, and that's
Jimmy, you were definitely there because you had a long streak going.
That's how fucking old I am. But
fuck,
wonder what year that was.
We can pull anybody with a phone.
I'm looking it up.
Was it the playoff? Was it the playoff?
No, it was not a playoff game.
That was the team they played in the playoffs.
Brett Favre
year they won.
Passes with the Falcons.
My very first football memory is of the Cincinnati helmet, and I remember the guy was Ray Anderson. Is it Kenny Anderson? The quarterback for the Bengals.
Kenny Anderson is a Georgia Tech point guard, but
shit. Ken Anderson, I thought was the quarterback.
Kenny Anderson. Kenny is the point guard. Ken is quarterback. I'm with you.
Joe Montana.
The NFL was a regular season game resulted in an interception return for a touchdown in a game against the Washington Redskins.
What was the date? Like 1991, 1992?
1991.
1991. Yeah. Yeah. And the Redskins won like.
And that was Favre.
November 10th, 1991. I think I was at that game with my dad.
What was
shit.
What was the final score?
I gotta hold on. Let me look again.
Yeah, that was Favre's first game. It's cool if you guys were there and didn't know that you were there to watch that history. That's even fucking cooler.
Yeah.
Because
he only attempted 4 other passes after that one in Atlanta and was intercepted twice, completed none of them.
Yep, it was 0 for 2 with 2 interceptions. He looked terrible. And the Redskins won like 56-14.
I wonder if that was his first pass attempt.
It was. That was it. That was his debut.
56-17. I was at this
game.
I was close. I was
at this fucking game.
Shit.
It was a fucking blowout.
No shit. Wow. That's cool.
I'm so excited I got to pee because you guys were probably there. That's fucking crazy.
I know I was there. I remember going to
this game.
You
got to piss too? You want to take a break? All right, I'm taking a break.
Huh?
I'm taking a break.
At that point.
And this one thing, say this shit. Start off my back, I wanna give you the dirt off my handkerchief. I'm giving
Dude, I have so many questions for Hitler now.
I got to go in a second because I got to start getting ready for bed. Sorry, fellas.
No problem.
Talking about Hitler again.
No, I'm not, but I have so many questions. I'd be like, do you really have one ball? Is that true? Like one, because apparently he had one testicle.
I can't believe. I want to talk about Redskins games. I can't believe that all three of us were at this game. I remember this game.
It was unbelievable. I mean, the Redskins were just so dominant.
You want to know what the Redskins' record was going into this
It
game?
was a cold day.
10-0.
Slightly, yeah, they were the real deal. Did they win the Super Bowl that year, or was that my imagination?
Yeah. The only game they lost was the last game of the season on a game-winning field goal by the Eagles. They put in all their backups. The Redskins played all their backups that game.
Yeah.
And I think they lost to the Cowboys by a point, maybe. Otherwise, they were probably one of the best teams ever, in my opinion. They just destroyed everybody. I knew they were going to win the Super Bowl.
You know, I will always be indebted for Holly Caps for bringing me. Her parents were, season ticket holders, and her family's all class, and she's all class, and we don't talk very often. We're in touch through Facebook, but that was like one of those moments. And, what's weird, Patrick, about life? You'll know there's a lot of people that you kind of came in contact with your vortex throughout time that were high quality people, and you don't keep in touch with them as much, but they're great fucking people. But these are people that if you intersected or re-intersected during different periods, you'd be thrilled to have them back in your life. It's kind of a weird thing about life is you have to get used.
Well, I think people cycle in and out.
They cycle in it, but it's disappointing the way that happens. In a way, you almost have to get used to that disappointment. You almost have to not look back. But at the same token, there's some really good people. I mean, I've come across some amazing people in my life. I miss them, and it's tough to keep in touch with everybody. At some point, it's a time and numbers game, and it's tough to actually. Even if you go back and say to somebody, if you were to text somebody right now who you're real close to, it'd be like, hey, I miss you. That'd be a special thing for a second. But really, after you're gone, like after you're actually passed away, then, and I'm not talking about me or you, I'm talking about in general. Then everyone's like, oh, I miss that person so much. What I would do to have another conversation with that person. What boxing shirt is that?
Huh?
You're wearing a boxing shirt. What is that? Are those waffles in your hands?
Yeah, I can make some waffles and go to bed. Waffles.
That's a great sentence. I got to make some waffles and go to bed. Are those what flavored waffles are those? Are those keto or what are they?
They are, I'll tell you what, they are Kodiak power waffles.
Do you put, so they're protein waffles?
Yeah, protein packed. They're a little more expensive, but I like them.
Do you put any syrup or anything on there or no?
No,
Just raw.
I just crush them.
Yeah, shit, dude. You're taking. Do you wake up? Do you go to the gym every day or no?
I got the gym in the basement, so I do it every day after work.
No shit.
I got 4 bags down there and weights and ropes and all kinds of shit like that. I have medicine balls. I can mix it up down there.
That's pretty badass.
My brother did the mitts. We did mitts today, me and Matt.
How's your mitt game?
Terrible.
Did,
Terrible.
did you listen?
I don't
to,
like mitts. I hit the bag well, but I don't like mitts very often.
yeah,
Unless somebody knows how to hold me, like unless you work with someone often enough, it's just like I feel like the timing is wrong. And
doing mitts is like making love. Like it really does require person A and person B having complete trust in each other, and it takes time. You can't just throw a mitt guy out on a. I'd love to see this. Actually, this would be a great like reality show for me, is to take Floyd Mayweather, throw him with a mitt guy he doesn't know at all, and see how he.
They would pick
he
quick.
adjusts.
You pick that shit quick. You just got to practice it like once or twice. The difference is like,
Yeah, Floyd's
practice.
monster.
So, but if you sit around and practice mitts, you can get real good at mitts, but you won't be very good at anything else.
What's the fight you're most excited about coming up?
I would have to say,
Hypothetical or real? It doesn't even need to be inked yet. I mean, for me, I
well, I want to see.
want to
I'm
see.
looking at
Costa
two
Lopez.
fights down the road for Jaron Ennis. I think this guy is going to fuck some people up who
Yeah,
are talking shit or whoever wants it. I think he's dangerous with anybody.
Jaron Ennis is a blue chipper, a blue chipper. But who's gonna throw their prospect? The problem with a guy that is a blue chipper, who you gonna feed to the wolf? You know what I mean?
Well, here's the problem: is that you have a guy who's awesome, but his name is not big. So against anybody, he's not a
Not
fight
a
you
big
want to
payday.
take.
It's not a big payday. It's not a fight you want. It's just like Chema in UFC is like this guy. He's a wolf. Chema is a wolf. He's
Might
literally
get your
consistent. It's instant ass whipping. Who's gonna step up? And in the meantime, Chema is just in there talking shit, and nobody's correcting him because everybody knows he's the alpha. They know what he is. So this is the set. Jaron Ennis is the Chamoff of boxing.
Because he's been trying to get fights against pretty big name people, just middle ground people, and he cannot get fights. This has been going on for like 2 or 3 years. Now he's just talking shit because once he gets a belt, they're gonna have to fight him. They're gonna have mandatory, so that'll be it.
Right now, he's almost got to find. I mean, it's a challenge to find somebody who wants to even. Right now, he has to find like one of those middle of the road, really good fighters that wants to potentially lose that get that chance of glory.
There's somebody, but he's got a fight coming up.
Who is it with?
I'm gonna tell you, I forget. I gotta look it up.
So in the meantime, let me tell you, I went and saw our boy Theorin Thorne. I got to give Theorin Thorne.
Oh yeah,
I went and saw that fight, and I saw it. I went there on a Sunday, and it was a really fun location, man. It's always good to see a new location you haven't been to. It's kind of set up proper. It was a club. Basically, they converted a club into a fight thing, and it worked, and it was fun to watch. But he came out, he you remember on the podcast when he did that whole, the point thing.
Yeah.
He does that during the weigh-in. He comes in, and that's his thing. Like, and he does it with
That's badass.
starts pointing to his friends with a Theor thing. Played the actual the song. He did you guys ever see Randy Couture fight?
I think did he fight Tony? No, just box. Never.
Like Randy Couture is Greco-Roman. So Theorin came in and he had a guy the guy that we thought he was going to fight dropped. So he had a brain.
I'm just trying to pick. Is that the guy that fought Tony? James Tony.
Randy Couture?
Yeah.
Oh, I would hope for James Tony's chance.
No, he choked him out. He choked him out in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it may have been. Yeah, but again, that's not fair. As you.
Hey guys, I gotta head out.
All right, brother.
Getting ready for bed.
I love you, brother. Have those waffles. Right. We love you. Thank you so much
for the
hat. So this is my.
See the hat, Jimmy?
Chef Bean's hat. Thank you, Patrick.
I love boxing gloves. Fucking love it.
With the boxing gloves.
Yeah,
Nobody
that's
fucks
nice.
with you if you get the boxing gloves on the hat.
You gotta wear that everywhere, Beans. Nobody will fuck with you.
They don't know. It's just the they don't know. Hey, what is he a fighter or what? You know,
Where'd he go?
I don't want to fuck with you.
Luckily, when you're as big and fat as I am, nobody messes with me anyway.
Yeah, they have to question themselves now.
I'm 6'5", 285. It does, with
Oh damn, you're
and-
big. You're tall. Holy shit.
and carrying a cannon on me at all times. I don't get fucked with often, but it doesn't mean that it might happen. It might happen. They might see my limp and mistake it for weakness. You never know. All right, brother. I love you. All right,
Peace,
bye.
guys.
All right, bye.
I'll see you, pal.
So Thorn won all 3 rounds. Dominant. Like he was just, when he came into the ring, it was we were talking about the diet thing. He came in so much bigger and stronger. The other guy was very skilled, actually way more skilled than I think his original fighter in jiu-jitsu. He just couldn't get off the ring. And he almost caught him in a Kimura and round run. And the most of the time on the side was on the fence, elbowing with a couple of takedowns and some ground and pound. But all 3 rounds were in complete control. He was pissed off because he had 2 submission attempts that were very, very close. One in round 1, one in round 3. But it was just dominant. The other guy really had no moments in the entire fight or no control. It was almost like when he showed up to fight, it was almost like he was 2 weight classes bigger than the other guy. He was
Right.
just very much stronger than the other guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be up in a minute.
I don't think he got hit with a single shot during a real shot. He might have gotten glanced, but afterwards he was upset that we were texting. He was like, "Yeah, I wanted to get the submission." I'm like, "Dude, you just literally won 3 rounds, probably didn't get brushed, and walked away with a victory. It doesn't get any better than that as a fighter."
But you know the best part of I don't know if you're missing this, but
Go ahead.
part of what should be the reason it's the best is that it's more rounds in the bank experience.
Correct.
That's the best part
never
of
trained with. Yeah, never trained with. Never didn't even know who his opponent was.
Yeah.
Like, no clue.
So the more rounds you look at a guy who's 11-0 with 9 first-round knockouts, and you take him past that first round, or those rounds, getting those rounds in. Sometimes it's not good to get everybody out in the first round.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I was waiting for you to, yeah, but yeah, I mean, you knock them out quick. You don't learn it. How are you going to learn to get
That's
deep?
it.
And even on the cardio side too. I mean, Tyson, we talked about this with Tyson. Tyson's average round for his entire career was 4 rounds.
Right.
So he never learned to go deep. If you just knock everybody out round 1, round 2, you've got a couple fights where he went deep, but it's a whole different animal when you aren't just destroying people with your alpha, immediately. You got to learn to dig deep. You got to learn what you're made of. There's a whole kind of psychological thing there. We got to figure out what is in you. What are you as a human being?
You want to really learn a lot about a guy. Show me a guy that has a lot of late knockouts.
That's a good point. Do you remember a point in your career where you felt like you were 100% gone, like you went back to the ring, went back to your corner, and you felt like you didn't have much or anything left?
The night or for the rest of my career?
No, during that night. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant it being shot, like a shot fighter. Okay.
You're acting with that question just like I asked you with the porn genre. Like with the porn genre? No, but seriously, went back to the career. When you went back to your corner.
I've had a couple nights where I thought that I didn't have anything left.
Tank was gone. What? Like, give me an example.
Well, Joe Wyatt.
What round was it?
Tough fucking fight, man. The fucking end of the fight, the last round, and I ended up
12?
think I was. I
Was it
think I
10?
might have been behind on scorecards. I ended up officially knocking him out with 2 seconds left, and I don't know how I did it because I was just dead from about the 10th round on.
It was a 12 rounder.
I think that was a 10 rounder. It might have been 12 round.
Joe, let me pull this up. Let me pull this up.
Eight,
By the way, while I pull this up, do you know how many questions I've come up with?
not the 10th. I'm sorry. That's why you asked that because I said 10th round. I was thinking like from the 8th round on. I thought it was a 10 rounder.
It was probably a 10 rounder. Yeah. But, do you know how many questions I've come up with for Hitler since we talked about that? I was in the bathroom going, do you really have football? Did you really go to Argentina? Do you really have a black child? So many, I 100%, I'm with Jonathan Allen. And there's a lot you can ask
Thank you.
Hitler.
You didn't start that way. You said that was a bum guess.
Well, no, I didn't say it was a bum guest. I'm just saying, he's not a party. These people are not fun. Typically when you think about, again, great answer. I absolutely love his answer, but these people are no party. These people aren't people you're going to fucking, hey, let's pop the champagne. Let's talk about killing.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be fun.
Let's talk
he
about.
said that. He said he would like to learn about certain things. That's why he wants to pick his brain. He used those words. I want to pick his brain. Who the fuck wouldn't?
I mean, there's so much stuff to ask there, right? Like, I mean, who hurt you? Like, I mean, where did you get angry? Was it, did from the time you were a small child, when you grabbed toys, did you just want to light them on fire? Like, what was the earliest indication that something might be wrong? Was it World War I that fucked you up? Because keep in mind, Hitler did fight in World War I. What was he? I mean, he was an artist too. Hitler's paintings are actually not shitty. Was he a decent person up to the point where he went and fought World War I, which was horrific, and then he became kind of a psychopath? Like, there's a lot of great questions, although you would have to, with Jonathan Allen, you'd also have to have Hitler all of a sudden know how to speak fluent English, or else he might be in some shit trouble. He's going to need a translator, or else he'll be like, Jonathan Allen, Michael Jackson. Jonathan Allen's going, shit, this isn't what I signed up for. What the fuck's going on? So I have no issue with his thing. But if you were to grab 3 people, again, people just asked you this. 3 people throughout history, boom, you're at dinner table. What do you say? And you've had time to think about it.
You know who I'm not gonna say, which is Jesus.
I mean, wow, that's I'd never even thought about Jesus. It's too deep for me, man.
It's just everybody says Jesus, and I'm not sure.
I wouldn't mind hanging out with Jesus. We'd be able to drink some wine. He'd be able to philosophically guide me in the right.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. I ain't touching that.
I mean, it'd be a loving experience. I mean, the guy's got charisma, up and down. He's got great wisdom.
I don't know. I don't have a desire.
I would go with I know 2 of them. I'm going to try to find my third while you're confused. Go ahead, because it gives me time to think, because I don't know the third yet. Do you have anybody in the history?
I don't want to fuck it, huh?
Do you have anybody in the history that you would love to just shoot the shit with?
Like, there's conditions here, man. Do they have to answer me honestly? I mean, that wasn't put in.
Oh, you're just sitting there at dinner and just fucking chilling. There's no fucking truth serum. It's
me
just
asking somebody something doesn't mean I'm going to get the right answer. I'm going to get the same answer as everybody else.
Yeah, these are people you're going to hang out with dinner, which is why I thought Jonathan Allen's this is where he went awry. Is there? But he did condition it. He said, if they're basically what he was saying is with truth serum, they have to tell me the truth. Then Hitler becomes a whole different, animal. You can go deep into his childhood. prior to Mein Kampf, were you a sweet kid that was playing with flowers and, putting little duckies together? Did you ever draw pictures of little ponies and stuff? And then your dad came and stomped them out. And that was the moment that you decided you want to just go kill people. It would be really interesting to know these things about, we always want to put Hitler as this horrible person, but
You know what? They're going to
there's a
say
story there. There's a story.
They're going to say we're sympathizers.
No, not at all. I mean, he's clearly, but everybody's got a story. And for him to ask what's his story is a question that most people don't ask. And I respect that. I'd like to know what his family life was like. What led him to be the monster that he became? That's a very fair question. And I don't know that appears in his writing. For everything I've seen on Hitler, he's been Hitler through everything I've seen. He's just been a prick. He's been. I'd like to find out what happened, for me to uncover all those layers and find out because everybody at some point was a baby. He wasn't just an evil baby. He didn't just come out of the womb being like, I like to kill Jews. You want to find out how it happened. How did that happen? That's a very legitimate question that most people don't want to address. They just want to be like, oh, it's Hitler. Fuck him. But I'd like to find out how it happened. And I'm sure Jonathan Allen, I share that with you. How did it happen? Who fucked you up? Who hurt you? And what and how can we stop that from happening again? Go ahead.
My father was born in 41, and there was no boogeyman. There was Hitler. Yeah. That's who kids like my father back in the state, that's who they were afraid of. Can you imagine? That's who that was the fucking boogeyman. I don't remember having something that profound, like national security, coming up when I was a kid. I didn't give a shit. This guy was, I don't know.
Well, who would you like to, who would you like to in history?
I'm starting to think it might be Hitler.
Right? That's not a bad answer. It's becoming there's a lot of questions there that are in history, he's broad brush, but there's a lot of questions there. Although, again, we don't have a truth serum. So you're just going to listen to a whole bunch of shit. And that's another question is, at what age are you bringing him back? Because if you bring Hitler back, during his prime, he's just going to be fucking yelling.
They bring him back when he's 9.
Yeah, bring him back when he's a kid. Then it's a fucking interesting thing. What's going on with you? How you doing? How your mother treating you? How's your father treating you? You bring him back when he's in his prime after World War I, he's clearly just going to be a prick, just yelling about the Jews being diseased. And which reminds you a lot about how the unvaxxed and the vaxxed are being treated.
I couldn't imagine there was this many ways to look at this.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to look at it. And that's the beauty for me. Okay. So I've thought about this throughout the thing. So there's 3 people. I'd like to have Mark Twain at my table, Richard Pryor at my table, and Roberto Duran at my table. Now, Roberto Duran is still with us, but I'd like those 3 people at the table with me.
God damn.
Just to watch them fucking hang out together. So Mark Twain with his incredible wit, Roberto Duran with his incredible singing abilities, which people forget about, and his storytelling. For me, Roberto Duran is like, I would adopt him, but he's way too successful and way too old. But if Roberto Duran had needed somebody to take care of him in his old age, like he gets too old to take care of himself, I'd take him in. I'd be like, I'm going to take Roberto Duran and I will take care of him. I will move him into my house, but he has to sing every now and then to me.
and those two Pryor and Duran co-starred in Sugar something.
They
Where-
work together?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
It-
So I just have
Pryor-
to introduce him to Mark Twain. Be like, this is my
Richard
friend Mark
Pryor-
Twain, and then there's me.
Richard Pryor played Sugar Ray or something. And he was a pimp. And Duran was in it.
So there's another correction to the Beers and Brawlers history that you brought up, because what you just said is probably absolutely correct, but a lot of these moments fly by, and then later on I have to look into it. You mentioned Stallone, Richard Gere, and Princess Di. So I Googled it and it turns out that that's true. Like all things that you say, it's absolutely true. It came from Elton John talking about how Richard Gere showed up with Princess Di, and that Stallone got jealous and thought, because at this point, so here's the original. There was history before this, okay?
Yeah.
So they worked together on a movie. They didn't like each other. Stallone thought that Richard Gere was a pompous piece of shit. And then there was an episode where it was raining outside, and at this point, Stallone didn't like Richard Gere. Richard Gere didn't like Stallone. Richard Gere jumps in this tiny little car to get out of the rain during a shoot. He's got a hot dog with mustard, and Stallone goes, he's holding it like flippantly, and Stallone goes, listen, can you keep your hot dog to yourself? And he's like, whatever with my hot dog. Gets all arrogant. Because if that shit spills on me, we're gonna have a problem. And Richard Gere, took a bite and it spilled on Stallone's pants. Stallone elbowed him in the fucking face.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a big to do. And Richard Gere ended up getting kicked off that set, got kicked out of that movie. So they had that big of a beef, and then that led up to Princess Di being with Richard Gere, and Stallone being, well, what the fuck are you doing with that piece of shit? And that's where the story that you heard came in. So so I pulled up the accounts, firsthand accounts, and pieced that together, and that's a piece of history that needs to be documented, because you were right that there was a Princess Di element there, and there was something before then. When we talk to Frank, at some point we'll have Frank on here. We can all, he can fill in pieces that you and I would never know, but that is the public piece of history that about that.
Right. Wow.
In the meantime, these are the stylings of Roberto Duran. Let's shut it down to Roberto Duran.
All for it, buddy.
All right, brother. This has been fun. Poor
Nice
Patrick.
job. I'll talk to you later.
Patrick has nothing to do with any of these thoughts, and anything that happened on this podcast is not Patrick's fault.
Try Rumble.